My name is Councillor Jackie Keane. I represent Haslemere and I chair this morning. We'll introduce everybody to you and then you can introduce yourselves and we'll go from there. So if I could start with our solicitor.
Gillian Carson-Jones in Legal Services.
Councillor Michael Goodridge, member of the Warnish and Blackheath, Brownlee.
Morning, Councillor John Rubini. Morning, Councillor John Rubini. I represent Haslemere. I'm County Borough and Town Council.
I'm Kimberly Soane, Democratic Services Officer and Clerk in the meeting.
Sure. And would you like to introduce Debbie?
Hi, I'm Debbie Smith. So I'm work for Waverley as an officer, as development programme manager. So we will be, well, you're our tenant, as it were. But so just here to observe, no input into the committee.
Thank you.
Good morning all. I'm Gina Keller. I'm from Winkworth Sherwood here on behalf of Loungers UK Limited. And this is Kaylee Harbson.
Okay.
Morning, I'm the Ops Manager for the area, so Godalming will be one of mine.
Well, thank you very much for coming in this morning. So we're here just to talk through your licensing application. There are obviously one or two things that we would like to ask you about in relation to that license application. Yep.
Would it be useful, sorry to interrupt, if I just handed out just...
If we just, I'm sorry, we have to go for the election of chairman.
I'd be to propose Councillor Keane.
I second that.
Thank you. Declarations of interest.
No.
And then we go to the licensing application. And as I said, we have received a new premises license from Loungers UK in respect of a food-led cafe and bar. So I think we'll probably start with questions from.
They need to do their presentation first. Let them present.
Okay. Yeah, Paul, would you like to introduce?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You have in front of you, as you said, a new application for a premises licence for the Lounge 69 High Street, Godalming, Surrey, where one relevant representation in objection has been received. There have been no representations received from responsible authorities. I'd like to point out an error on page 7. Hours for regulated entertainment. It should be late night refreshment. The hours are correct. It's just the title. In brief, the applicant seeks to licence the premises for sale of alcohol, 7 days a week, 10 till midnight. Late night refreshment, 7 days a week, 2300 till midnight 30. And opening hours, 0800 till midnight 30. The full hours are set out in the report. I'd like just to make a declaration of interest. The building and its external area are owned by Waverley, who have agreed a 15-year lease with Loungers UK Limited. Officers request you consider the application.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. And so, Kate, who would like to start giving your representation to us?
That's correct. Yeah, that's a copy of that. Good morning, thank you. Yes, so Loungers UK Limited, you will have seen the application for the premises licence. Just to give you a bit of background about Loungers, I've given some information in those documents there, which just gives a bit more of a background as to what a lounge looks like. Loungers themselves have 40 cosy clubs, which you may have heard of in various towns and cities across the country. And at this point, I think in time, have 240 lounges across the UK. So they're becoming ever more popular. The whole sort of concept behind a lounge, it's an informal, relaxed cafe bar mainly serving breakfast, brunch, lunch, afternoon teas, relaxed dinners, busy times of breakfast, lunch, afternoon, dinner time. There's a real food-led emphasis for a lounge. We have a great emphasis on gluten-free, vegan menus. I think they've even got an award-winning vegan menu and award-winning chocolate torte. So again, a real emphasis behind good food. A very big focus, and I spoke to Kaylee more in depth about this earlier, is to ensure that a lounge is very much the hub of a local community. Every town within which a lounge is based, the name is very much tied in to the local area. And there's a real embedding and a focus and encouragement of all of the members of staff to really get to know the local charities, organisations and businesses. There are a few initiatives that are commonplace amongst all of the lounges. For example, on opening, a local charity is chosen who are very much then become, very close with the management staff there. They're invited to the launch night, and 50p per burger and 20p per coffee during the opening month, is that right, Kaylee, is donated towards that local charity. So there's a real encouragement there to be seen as speaking to the local people as to what is the need here. And it's a local charity that's always chosen. It's not a nationwide charity. There's something called Lounge Aid, which is an annual fundraising initiative that takes place over a 2-month period. And again, that gives back to a local charity. All of the proceeds are pumped into the local community. And it's very much hoped that this will be the case here in Godalming too, that it will become a local hub for the community and draw in visitors. So our application, you will have seen here, the applied for hours are 8 a.m. to midnight opening, and for alcohol to be 10 a.m. to midnight. However, there was a representation received from a local objector who requested that we made the terminal hour of alcohol 11:30. The business has happily agreed to meet that request, and so alcohol terminal hour would be 11:30. It's a change from the midnight hour. We did hope that the objector would have withdrawn their application and representation after that, but we understand there's a concern around the vertical drinking element here. So I just wanted to sort of alleviate any concerns around that today, that it's really not something a lounge is vertical drinking. But the reason it's not conditioned on any of the premises licenses, and the intention here is the same, not to have it as a condition, is just to allow that degree of flexibility. We wouldn't want somebody stood up to just have a drink whilst they're drinking, to be guilty of an offence under the Licensing Act. So just allows lounge to have a bit more of a flexibility in their approach. But it is very much food-led, and we don't see that representation being something that will actually transpire and happen in reality. And in line with the Waverley Borough Council's licensing statement, we believe that the application is within policy. We think that it deviates much from that. It's not in the CIZ, there's background music only. We very much think that the business tries to balance the needs of the local people against the needs of the business. And any issues around crime and disorder, it's really the police who would be the source of any advice in respect of that, and they've not raised any concerns. They're very much satisfied. And again, you'll probably see from the brochures there, it's a real friendly, family-focused concept that we're looking for here, and it caters for all age groups, which again is in keeping with policy. It would hopefully encourage evening and nighttime economy. I think, Kaylee, correct me if I'm wrong, it's anticipated there'll be 25 members of staff here. So again, taken from the local area, so improving employment in the area. And we believe that the operating schedule was a very sensible one. And essentially, because it is a food-led restaurant cafe, we would hope that there are no other concerns about the premises licence being granted here.
Thank you very much. Would you like to add anything to that?
I don't think so. I think obviously I've worked with the company now for a few years, so actually in site and now looking after a number of sites. And I definitely think that everything that's been said is very accurate. We are more of a family orientated place. It's very much a community feel, and that's very much what we do and what we're about. That's what's important to us, is doing that side of it as well. So.
Thank you. I think you've cleared up the concern that was raised about the vertical drinking. I think there's probably maybe a concern that somebody would just come in not to eat but just to drink, and I think you've covered that. So I think we're probably happy with that bit. So I know there were some questions that we would like to ask you. Would you like to start, Councillor?
Good morning. Could we turn to Annex 2, which is the plan we have here, which shows on the bottom plan 5 tables on the pavement. You'll appreciate that you need a pavement licence if you're going to do that. But could we clarify what you own and what you don't own? Because it says on the key, thick red line denotes what you own. And then when it gets near the front, it suddenly becomes a dotted line. So am I right in assuming that your ownership is parallel to the front windows?
We would have to check the lease plan. I can't answer categorically whether or not that is within the lease demise, the outside area. But what I will say at this stage, we've checked with the business, and that whilst the outside seating does appear on the plan, at this stage there's no intention for outdoor seating. I think very much is the case that they put it on the plan should there be the intention to do so in the future. But at this stage there isn't any intention to.
Yeah,
but we can.
If you look at page 4, the
Yeah.
photograph, it would appear that you've outlined in or coloured in pink the whole of the land up to the curb. I know Godalming well. I know when they put in the partially pedestrianisation of Godalming, and that pavement can hardly take 2 prams crossing, let alone anything else. So the width of the pavement is not great outside the premises.
Yeah, we took a walk
But
this
so
morning.
I think there must be an error on the plan, because I wouldn't want us to be assuming that you owned the land right up to the edge of the pavement, because that's what you've coloured pink. And for some reason that the clerk, who's got better eyesight than I have, has shown that it's a solid red. If you look on page, on the Annex 2 on page 25, you look at the bottom red line, it becomes solid up to the white bit showing the front window, and then it goes dotted. There's nothing on the key about dotted.
Yeah, I would have to get a bit of clarification on that and check it against the lease plan, if I'm honest. I'm not sure if the outside area is within the area that's demised in the lease from the council to lounges. Okay, yeah. Yeah. No.
I
Debbie,
think we can help who've
Yeah.
been involved.
Chair, yes. I don't believe it is in your lease plan. It just goes up to the
the edge,
building. Yeah. So thank you.
As we don't believe the front is part of your plan, would you be happy to remove that area of the plan? Because if you did get pavement licence granted afterwards.
Yeah.
It would only be for consumption. You wouldn't want to sell alcohol outside. It'd be for the consumption of alcohol. So you wouldn't need that in red on your area. So I'm just suggesting possibly if you remove that red bit off the plan, so the pavement wasn't included, if you did get the pavement licence, you would still be able to do it, but then it would clarify things with the
Are you happy to
committee.
accept that?
So for the removal of the front from the plan, just for the purposes of the premises licence, I believe the business would be happy to have that removed.
Yeah, because like you
Because-
said, we're not selling alcohol.
No.
It's just for consumption of alcohol.
It still leaves it open if we needed to at a later date apply by way of a pavement licence for
Yeah.
consideration at that stage. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good, well, that was the first point I wanted to raise. The second point was the hour. Personally, I'm not fussed. I am concerned about some. See, we're still planning for. I just feel that opening hours to say 11:30 might be better on Sunday. The other things tomorrow. Comment on that?
Again, we've put it in the application to just allow for that degree of flexibility. In reality, obviously, happy to agree to the 11:30 for terminal hour of alcohol. And I think actually midnight is something we would be happy to reduce it to for closing, to match sort of just a half an hour extra after the terminal hour of alcohol to allow for closing. Would you be happier with a closing hour of midnight? Okay.
What you're proposing is to 11:30 sale of alcohol for Monday to Sunday
Yes.
and late night refreshment, presumably therefore to 11 o'clock till midnight.
11. I think it's we've agreed that it can be 11 to 11:30. So the same as
So
the alcohol
11:30,
terminal hour.
yeah, okay. And then opening hours till, you're suggesting till midnight.
Yes, just to allow that half an hour after last drinks to.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Rubini?
Yes, thank you, and thank you applicant for being flexible. It is only the Sunday that I was concerned about, because obviously we want to support the nighttime economy. So we want people going in during the week, but on the Sunday, I do agree that we need a bit more relaxation. So if you're happy to reduce the hours for the Sunday, then I don't personally see a problem with the hours. And I'd thank you for being flexible. So is that possible to reduce the hours on the Sunday late night opening?
Is that to less than midnight on the Sunday? I think 11:30. It would be.
Drink up. Drink up to 11. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we ask if you had if you had drink up time on the Sunday to the 11, close 11:30?
So drink up time on Sunday to be 11.
Yeah.
To 11:30.
Would you be happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's happy. Yeah, we're happy with that. Obviously, the separate condition. Kaylee was just concerned about the New Year's Eve timings, but that's a separate.
That is
Yeah.
something
So
that
that's
you would talk to
dealt with
Mr.
separately.
Hughes' department about. And you've got tens and all sorts of things that
Yeah.
you can use on that, and you know very well about those.
Would that also include celebrations such as football and one or two other special events?
We don't show football
Oh,
or anything like
We're
that.
very relieved about that.
So we don't
Easy.
have any football, so you're more than welcome to come until 11
Football
o'clock.
Football fan. So,
I was
if-
just clarifying that the only one is that New Year's Eve celebration.
Pardon?
I was just clarifying that it's just New Year's Eve for the celebration.
Lovely. So, anything else? What's that? No, so, Gillian, anything? So we'll go now and have a quick discussion next door, and then we'll come back to you and yes, I mean, I did say, is there anything else you'd like to add on that?
No, I think it was just obviously, yeah, our application goes in to allow that degree of flexibility.
Lovely.
And I think in any new location, it's just on a case by case basis to see how it would work with the local community, and we would be willing to adjust. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Lovely. Right, well, the committee has had communication with each other, and we have agreed to grant your licence subject to a revised plan to remove the pavement within the application, and the hours as amended during the hearing to include Sunday hours to be last sales 11 p.m. and closing by 11:30, and Monday to Saturday with sales to 11:30 and closing midnight, with late night refreshments Monday to Saturday to 11:30 p.m. We'd like to wish you every success with your business, and thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you very much.